Hello, everybody out there. A very good evening to you. And let me start tonight by saying Happy New Year. Welcome to the year 2012. It's going to be your year of great fulfillment by the mercy of God. And let me say thank you for your love and support for us on this show. Throughout the year 2011, you're the reason why we're here. The Lord bless and increase you. And I can assure you that by the mercy of God, we've got programs that will bless and transform your lives lined up for the year 2012. All you need to do is keep watching, keep supporting, and keep praying for us. And I can assure you we'll keep coming your way with life-transforming programs. And the year 2012 will be an outstanding year for you by the mercy of God. A quick shout out to my lovely manager and my producer. Today is his birthday. Oyin Victor Oladipo. I love and appreciate you. The Lord bless you. You are a blessing to humanity. Happy birthday, boy. God bless you. God's people, we're going to go on a short break. I've got a wonderful man of God in the house with me. He's a doctor, a PhD holder. As a matter of fact, it's such an honor for me to have him on the show tonight. You want to guess who my guest is? Don't touch that dial. You don't want to go nowhere. I'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Oyin. If I were to ask you, what do you want out of life? I know most of us will say we want money, we want a good job, we want a good family, we want good friends, but the underlying thing is we all want to have a good life. I have looked through the Bible and through people's experiences, and I have written a book about what I've learned on how to have a good life. It's entitled Securing Tomorrow Today, How to Have a Good Life. What happens to us in life is as a result of what we do every day of our life. In this book, you will learn the things you need to do to have a good life. You can have a good life. You are supposed to have a good life. Get your copy of the book today. God bless you. Thank you.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us on your one and only program, Questions in the Heart. And like I said, I've got this great man of God in the house with me tonight. He's a PhD holder, a doctor, a renowned evangelist. You know, he's one of the pacesetters here in the UK when it comes to television evangelism. I have the honor and privilege of bringing your way tonight as we look at this topic, dangers of offense. This great man of God, Dr. Lawrence Tetteh. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Esther.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Many happy returns.
It's such an honor to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Etise.
Yeah, no. We have to give you a Ghana passport.
Why not? I'll follow you to Ghana anytime. Just let me know. I'll go with you. You're welcome on the show tonight. You want to welcome God's people.
You're welcome, and I believe the will of God will be made manifest in your life today. Amen. We are believing God with you that by the time we finish this program, God might have visited you in your home, wherever you are watching us from. God bless you.
The Lord bless you, sir. You're welcome on this show tonight. You want to tell us a bit about yourself? 2 seconds about yourself.
I'm Lawrence Tetteh. I was born in Ghana. I've been in Europe for quite some time now.
Oh my God.
I relocated in Ghana from '86.
Oh my word.
And now I think I'm making my way back to Ghana, and I'm a child of God.
No, don't tell me that. You're going back to Ghana?
Back home.
Don't leave us here.
I tell you, I'm tired of Europe, and I want to go back to Ghana.
Oh God, there is no place like home. God bless you, God's people. Tonight, you're welcome, Doctor. The Lord bless you, sir. Our topic tonight is dangers of offense. We're bringing you this topic because we want the best out of you in the year 2012. We don't want a repeat of the past years in your life where you might think, oh, I had it great last year. You could have it greater this year. And it's not all about enemies all the time. It's one enemy there fighting your life, and that's why you're not making it. Is one adversary there working against you, and that's why you're not making it. Why don't you look inward? What are you doing as a person that is hindering your progress in life? Why are you not making it? Why are you where you are today? Why are you revolving around the same circle? You've got to look inward. You've got to look inward. And the greatest enemy to deal with is self-enemy, sir.
Very much
You
so.
have to deal with yourself as yourself, enemy first. Then the best you, the real you, the glorious you in the year 2012 will be seen by the mercy of God. Dangers of offense. Dangers of offense. That's our topic tonight. Man of God, I know you've written a book on this topic. We'll talk about that book briefly. But let's kick the ball rolling tonight. Then we'll come back to Doctor's book. What is an offense?
I think offense is a situation where you are faced with a challenge, anger, resentment, pain, frustration, and when things don't go your way. As a matter of fact, anger is offense.
Wow. Anger is offense. But we all get angry. It's normal for us to get angry. We all get angry. People all get angry. So,
Esther, Jesus Christ knew that we'll all be angry one day. You know, the Bible says in Ephesians that be ye angry and sin not.
Be angry and sin not, you're right.
Do not let the sun go down on your wrath.
On your anger.
Neither give way to the enemy. In Luke chapter 17, from verse 1 to 4, before Jesus ascended, he gathered all the disciples together. And he told them that it is impossible that no offenses will come. If you live in this flesh, if you're a human being, you live with human being,
you will be offended.
Stay with human being, married to human being, giving birth to human being, and privileged to have human being as siblings and friends, by all means, you'll be offended. But Jesus said, be careful that these offenses doesn't destroy your life. Now, after he's spoken to them from the verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, and verse 4, in verse 5, the apostles asked Jesus Christ, in Luke chapter 17, verse 5, that if you want us to forgive our enemies, increase our faith. Offenses are traps of the enemy. Offenses can distract you, and offenses can destroy your life. And great men and women, regardless of your race, color, creed, or sex, you have to be mindful of this spirit called offenses. God, offenses in itself is a spirit. Now, Esther, to be honest with you, everybody gets offended. Today, as we live now, brothers are fighting brothers, friends are fighting friends. Church members are fighting church members. Unfortunately for us, even pastors are also fighting.
I read in your book. Pastors. I read in your book a story of two pastors who fought to the extent of beating each other.
Yes.
In front of church members.
Pastors are fighting because when we get offended, we lose our manners.
Oh my God.
When we get offended, we lose our conscience. When we get offended, we are overclouded. And I think offenses, sometimes I say offenses like emotions. It has no intellect. It doesn't matter how intelligent or educated you are. When you get offended, you lose your emotions. And emotions has no intellect. So it's an area that we really need to work on. It's an area that we need to really develop. It's an area that, as we speak about it today, I want you to look into your life and find out what that offenses brought. Anger. And why you became offended and whether it's worth it. And Esther, you believe it or not, that a lot of things we are fighting about today is nonsense. It's nonsense. It's practically nonsense. You grow. And
yet we fight about it and dress so much on it. And
many years down the line, you ask yourself what you got offended about. When I got married about 20 years ago, I used to get offended about the sort of food my wife would cook for me. She want to eat rice. I want to eat kenke or banku or fufu. Nonsense. Today I sit back and I realize that if I had not checked even what I eat, my stomach would have bloated and I would have lived. So you sit back and you ask yourself why you even got worried about those things.
In the first instance.
And there are many today that are offended that if they sit back, what brought the breakdown of the marriage? What destroyed them? What couldn't make them continue with their academic life?
Silly things.
What made them leave the church? And if you know how I wrote this book, it's interesting. I was traveling to Central Africa, one of the countries in Central Africa.
I read in it.
You read in the book. And whilst I was on the plane, this lady, beautiful lady, was seated next to me on first class. I mean, how many people sit on first class? That in itself is a privilege we should be thankful to God about. She asked for orange juice. The elders went and brought pineapple juice. She sipped it and said no, she's allergic to pineapple juice. She wanted orange juice. And for about 5 minutes, one ground on Air France, I can never forget this story. The elder will not come. Elder comes again after 5 to 10 minutes whilst we're on ground, and brought another pineapple juice again. She sips it this time and said, nonsense. I paid first class to get what I wanted. I needed orange juice.
And yet you're bringing me pineapple juice.
And the elder said, juice is juice.
Oh, my
Now, in her anger, she just poured the juice on the face of the elder on the plane.
Wow.
Now, anger and offenses will make you overreact. And great men and women have overreacted. You know what the lady did? The pilot came and offloaded this lady. Now, you will not believe this. It was while she was being offloaded that it turned out that she was the resident director of a reputable international organization.
Can you imagine?
In the country we're going to.
Can you imagine?
Her diplomatic passport didn't make any sense. Her dignity didn't make any sense. Because that is the essence of offense. Offenses will make you lose your dignity and your pride.
Offenses will make you lose your dignity and your pride. You wonder a man that should be, you know, that should be a gentleman, that should, you know, behave in a nice manner, and because of offense on a very little thing, or very minimal thing, is all over shouting, screaming, and 2-3 people can't even call him to order.
And you'll be surprised, it does not matter who you are. You will always be offended one day. And that is why you need to learn how to manage
offenses and how to deal with it.
And as I preach these messages around, I mean, this message was one message that I had to preach in the World Conference of the Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship. And Richard Shakarian, when I finished preaching, he said every member at the conference, including those who were not there, should get copies of this book. But it took the book very far. Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship really took care of the book, because what we realized was that men who were dignified people, respected people,
lost their dignity to offense.
Lost their dignity. But if you read from Genesis to Revelation, it happened to people. Now, there are a lot of people, offenses will make you even lose strategies of battle. Now, look at what happened to Goliath and David. Goliath was a 9-foot taller man, a trained army personnel, somebody who has led the Philistines. He knew how to fight. He knew the strategies of battle. But he was faced with David, who was just 16.5 years old.
So he got offended.
He thought nonsense. Who the hell do you think you are?
What's this one
Where
doing
do you
here?
Come from?
You?
Who do you think you are? I will kill you and give your carcass to the bears to eat. He was beginning to be very, very upset. And because of that, when he was going to face David, he did not cover his face.
Oh my God.
Offenses made him lose strategies of battle. And one of the illustrations I give in our day and age is about Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield.
I remember that, isn't it?
Now, instead of Mike Tyson using the jabs, he was the undisputed world champion. He was known to be the person who would win the fight. Logically, psychologically, and even technically, Mike Tyson was a winner, even before they entered into the ring.
Oh my God.
But he became offended.
He became offended.
And so he beat the ears once. The referee didn't see it. And that was not enough. He was more offended. He beat the second time. The referee finished the fight. And they said the title belonged to Evander Holyfield. Offenses will make you lose what you have lived for. And many great people today listening to me today are upset. They are offended. They are worried. They are tired of their church. I mean, why are people leaving church? There are a lot of you listening to me today. It is.
You left your church because you were offended.
There's no. If you sit back today and you want to be very honest with yourself, there was no sense in you leaving the church. You were doing very well. You were a great leader. You were respected. You were adored. People hail you, and then some silly thing happened.
And
you became offended.
Became offended and left.
And what offenses will make you do is that it will make you leave your authority, and people who don't matter will come and take it. You will never evade. It happened to Moses. Moses delivered the Israelites. Manna fell because Moses was leading the Israelites. The Red Sea was divided into two because Moses was leading the Israelites. People saw the pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Sticks were turned into snake to perform and to show how much the hand of God was on Moses. And then all of a sudden, the mixed multitude made him upset. And Esther, when God said, speak to the rock, he struck the rock. Now the question is that, Esther, speaking to the rock and hitting the rock,
they were
which
two
one
different,
is easier?
Speaking of course, it will take you strength and energy to strike.
Offenses will make you very irrational and unreasonable. And that is why if you are listening to us today, be mindful, because it doesn't matter who you are. Offenses can make you lose your dignity. Offenses can even make you a killer. Amnon raped Tamar, his half-sister. Absalom was so upset and offended that for 3.5 years he schemed. Now, offenses will make you scheme and scheme. And a lot of you today, you are good people, you are very nice people, you are brilliant people. A lot of people relied on you until you became offended.
Until you became offended.
And profane came out of you.
And that was the end of it.
So, Absalom trapped his brother into a party and killed him. What does offenses makes you? It makes you a killer. And the churches are being broken today because people are getting offended daily. My prayer is that we come to that place where we rest assured. Where we come out, because what is important that we need to know, Sister Esther, is that offenses can also make you sick.
Offenses can make you sick.
Very sick. And I read a report in one of the research institutes in America, and it shook me. In fact, I'm writing a second phase of my book on offenses, and I'm going to include some of those reports. The research finding was simple. A medical research that claims that when you get upset or angry or offended or annoyed, whatever you call it, your heart bloats, opens, enlarges. Now, when your heart enlarges, when you're offended, it takes 72 hours, 3 days,
to bring it back to the original
before it
comes
to normal.
My God.
Now, within that 3 days that you are offended, angry, and upset about some silly person who doesn't matter, who will not go where you are going, who will never see what you see, who will never do what you do, who has never achieved that much.
And yeah, they just want to distract you and make you...
Within that 3 days, the research says you are more vulnerable than HIV patients.
Oh, Jesus.
That is where pimples come, certain boils come in some part of your body. You cannot tell anybody. And then certain things come, your armpit, in certain part of your body, you get some boils and you become restless and you cannot sleep. And it is also believed that it is during times like that that unfortunately people get brain hemorrhage and stroke.
Oh my God.
Now, when I read and I realized that offenses can kill, I said to myself, in fact, I leave you alone than to allow you to kill me, because life is going to be sweeter.
Oh my God.
Life is going to be very honorable, and life is going to be a blessing. And trust me, the years ahead of us are sweet. So don't allow offenses to destroy your life.
Don't allow offenses to destroy your precious life. Oh my goodness. Are you offended by whoever, by whatever? You do yourself a favor tonight by letting go so that you can achieve, your purpose in the year 2012. What does offense do, sir? You've mentioned a few. You can join the chat tonight. Our phone line is open now. Our studio line is open. Someone who's offended you so very much that you can't even fathom forgiving that person. Give us a shout tonight. Doctor is here. We will be able to help you and tell you one or two things you can do. On a serious note, at times you live with people whose attitude are just offensive. They can't stop offending you. At times you feel like, oh, especially in marriage, you can't, I don't know, you cannot but just offend each other. But offense is dangerous. Offense will make you achieve your purpose in life. Offense can kill, like you said. How do we deal with it? Give us a shout tonight. Join the chat and the Lord bless you. What does offense do?
Offense will distract you. In fact, one of the major effects of offenses is to distract you.
Wow.
Now, I've seen married people. I've been preaching the gospel actively since 1987. Now, I've seen people who are divorced. And if you ask the cause for the divorce, it's about Ludo. 1 million, line kick, back kick, home. Nonsense. I've seen people divorced because the man snore or the woman snore.
Jesus.
I've seen people go through divorce because somebody stayed too long in the bathroom and somebody on the phone.
Silly things.
Now, hear me. Silly things like the woman had the child to call the father. A young boy, 8-year-old boy, called his dad, and the woman picked the phone up. And she told Mommy, when I called Daddy today,
a lady picked
the phone. So what? Call Daddy again. Call Daddy again. Said the lady picked again. The lady doesn't want me to speak to Daddy. She takes the phone from the son, put off the phone and put it in the bag. Was waiting for the daddy to come from work.
Oh, Jesus.
She was so offended. The daddy come from work and said, look at you. You are giving your phones to even your mistress and your girlfriends. They are using the phone. If your son couldn't speak to you, your son called you twice, and I think about the third time or you didn't pick the phone. He said, I did not. Pam.
What?
She's done the impossible thing. Touched the husband, very vexed, held the husband by the shirt. So the husband called the boy. Little boy, when you called my son, who did you say? Said daddy, the woman picked the phone. She doesn't want me to speak to you. What did the woman say? Said the woman said this phone is either switch off or out of coverage area.
Oh, Jesus, you don't mean it.
Now it is too late. You've beaten the husband already. You've mashed him already.
What?
Offenses can make you act foolishly. And that is why it is very important that we manage our offenses. And there are many stories like that. Many people who have lost certain valuable relationship and friends because somebody says something and somebody said, God does not judge you because of somebody's opinion about you. No. God will never judge you because of what somebody thinks about you. As a matter of fact, it's very important for you not to allow yourself to be offended because offenses will shut your dreams. Wow. And Esther, most people's dreams have been shut down because they were offended.
Because they were offended.
And when you're offended, you don't think straight, you don't act straight, you don't, and by the time you realize what belongs to you has gone to your enemy.
Oh my God.
Many years ago, I was told a story about a woman who had a problem with her husband. Now this problem was simple. The husband was supposed to be bringing her a a birthday present. She said she needed a diamond ring. She went to the grocery store, showed the husband where the diamond ring was. And until a day before her birthday, she realized the ring was still in the shop. The husband has not picked it. Now she was 40 years old. They have everything they needed. That is just something that the husband could have bought. It was not a big deal. So what did she do? She waited. On the day of the birthday, the husband brought a very nice package with a Bible in it, with her name written on it. Maybe, Esther, I love you much more than you can imagine. Everything I have belongs to you. She opened the case and realized it was a Bible in it and threw it on the table. Not the diamond ring. The husband said, what is your problem? What is about diamond ring? Everything I have is yours. So what is diamond ring? He said, but you should have. She became so upset, threw the package on the table and then left the house. And for 30 years, until she became 70, she was on her own. The husband was on his own. Can you believe that when the man died, she came back to the house. She was told everything has been willed to her. The man never married. She also never married. She came back home, and when she entered into that house, the Bible was lying where she left it 30 years ago.
Oh my God.
She picked it and said, this Bible was what made me leave this house. Picked it, and guess what fell from the Bible?
The diamond
ring.
Jesus.
With her name written on it. With the date of her birthday written on it. She has wounded herself, suffered,
lost her peace, lost her
a
joy.
lonely life, lived a separated life for 30 years because
For
she
nothing,
was
because what she wanted was right there.
there.
Oh, goodness.
So offenses can make you lose what belongs to you. And as a matter of fact, Esther, as I travel around the nations of the world to preach on this message, I've realized how much the body itself is hurting. Pastors are leaving churches. Associate pastors are starting their own churches. Men who are supposed to be leaders of certain departments are just leaving because offenses have become a reproach that the enemy has used to destroy many lives.
Oh my God.
And most of us, it does not matter where you are and what you are. You need to understand that offenses can take away your joy. Now, there are a lot of people whose joy are broken. They don't have joy anymore because you're offended. They cannot sleep. You're having sleepless nights. And offenses can also make you lose your loved ones. Now, when I'm preaching on offenses, I illustrate it with a lot of stories. God, I like singing and preaching and shouting and running around, and that is my style. That is the way God make me minister the gospel. One of the stories I talk about was about a faithful dog.
Okay.
This dog has lived with the family for 15 years. Now, you know, in this part of the world, in America, most people, their pets even becomes part of the family.
Yeah.
Not that much in Africa, but this part of the world. And then we learn to accept it because if you don't accept it, you... But this woman, after 15 years living with this dog they call a faithful dog, at any time she gives birth, she can leave her child with the dog and go to town and come back, and the dog will be safe and the child will be safe. This time in Alabama, she went to the market for 2 hours. She left her 3-year-old daughter with the dog. And when she came back and she was entering, at the entrance of the house, there was a pool of blood. Now, it was quite strange. The first instinct is that, wow, this dog. Sometimes it is this faithful dog. Tomorrow it will be this damn dog. you have a different title when you change your mind. And when we get offended, the words we say, the choice of words we bring out, and what people seem to be looking at us to be, we change.
Oh, God.
She got into the house and finally saw more blood, and so she picked up a pistol from her bag. She could hear the running and the barking of the dog, but she couldn't hear her baby girl.
Oh, my goodness.
The dog came out of the bed with blood all over its face and was licking its mouth as though it has had a delicious meal. And by the very sight of the dog, she shot at the dog 3 times. After the 3rd shooting, she heard a cry of the baby behind. The baby was safe. Everything was under control. So where does this blood come from? She looks beneath the bed, and here was a jackal, a wild animal that has been divided into 2. If she had had a little patience, if she was not offended and very angry,
oh, goodness,
she would have saved the baby and would have been happy with a faithful dog. But it was too late.
It was too late.
And most of you have lost friends. I know for some of you, friends have really hurt you, which is part of life. But don't allow the hurting friend or the friend who is hurting you to kill you.
That's right.
Get out of offenses, and your heart will be at rest. You know, when we're growing up, it was old ladies and old men who carry hypertension and heart problems and things. Today, a lot of young men and women are on medication for
high blood pressure.
And a lady came to see me a few years ago, about 4 years ago, an 18-year-old girl. Her pressure was about 220 over 110.
A 8-year-old?
18-year-old
18-year-old.
And I said, Do you realize what you are doing? Say, yeah, the boy will kill me. I say, yeah, you're almost getting dead. Now, 18-year-old girl is so offended about her boyfriend going after another person that she's cleaning herself. So we need to be mindful of this spirit called offense. We need to be mindful.
The Lord bless you, sir. Can offense in any way affect our spiritual life?
Yes, of course. Now, if you look at Absalom, if you look at most of the people who followed David, and even Samuel, a prophet, because of offenses, he nearly lost his position as a prophet. Remember in 1 Samuel chapter 16, God called Samuel and said, Samuel, for how long will you mourn for Saul?
Wow.
Since saying that I, the Lord, who created Saul, have rejected him. I can imagine God asking Samuel, Samuel, who created you? You say, God. Who asked you to anoint Saul the first time? I say, God. And who says you go to Jesse's house to anoint him? I say, God. It certainly can affect your spiritual life. Wow. Now tell me, when you are in the church and somebody seems to be taking your husband away or your wife away, or somebody has lied about you, or somebody has deceived you, or somebody has abused you, or somebody has accused you, and the person is leading the choir, or the person is leading praise and worship, and you can tell this girl or this boy is not correct. God. How do you feel? You're offended.
Do you see people walking out of church when a particular person is about to lead prayer or lead praise or do anything? They just get up from their seats and off they go.
I have even seen pastors change their message because they saw somebody and they became offended. As they preach and they get sight of that person, anger comes and then they begin to talk nonsense. Offenses can make you lose your manners. And that is why it's very important for us to not allow offenses to destroy our joy.
We're going to go on a short break, God's people. I know the Lord is ministering to you where you are tonight. When we get reactions like this, people are there listening. Don't worry, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with this great topic, dangers of offense. You don't want to touch that dial. You don't want to go nowhere. This year, 2012, your destiny shall be achieved, shall be fulfilled. Offense won't kill you. God bless. Stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us on your lovely program, Questions in the Heart. We've been dealing with the topic, dangers of offense. And blessing us tonight on this topic is the man of God, Dr. Lawrence Tetteh. Dr. Lawrence Tetteh has got a book on dangers of offense. On a serious note, this book will bless and transform your life forever. I picked it up and I couldn't get my hands off it since then. I read one chapter and go back and read the chapter again and go back and read the chapter again. How can we get this book, sir?
Well, we have a number. I have a number on the screen beneath my name that when people call, they can get it. If you Google Lawrence Tetteh, at least you'll get directions and how to get my name.
Okay, okay. You need to grab a copy. Have you got anger as your problem? Some people can't even deal with this. Naturally, they want to be able to, be calm, take things with, but they can't just, at times they'll finish up and sit down and say, oh, what have I done? They can't, they seem not to be able to deal with this issue, anger.
You know what? The only way you can deal with anger is through the word of God.
Wow. Wow.
Now, what people don't realize is that it does not matter who you are. This spirit can get hold of you.
Wow.
And that is why we need to remind ourselves daily about what Ephesians says, that be ye angry and sin not. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath. Now, I can give you stories upon stories and testimonies upon testimonies about how people have just missed their miracle because they became offended. I remember about 5 years ago, I preached this message in Warri for Papayo Resejafo. You know, I'm a regular speaker in his Let God Arise conference. And when I finished preaching it, the following day, I was going to preach again, and he saw that my note was on anointing. And he said, Lawrence, nonsense. Benny Hinn, a day before you came, spoke on anointing. What do you know about anointing? Speak on offenses. I said, Papa, but I've prepared my message. He said, no, Lawrence, the message you preach on offenses is so touching and so practical that we needed it for the body of Christ today. Wow. So you won't believe it. For the past 5 years or so, when I go to Papayo's church, for some reason, I have to bring something about offenses. Wow. Because he said this is an area that most people have lost sight of.
Very sensitive.
And he believed the humor from which I present the message makes it very practical. Because somebody can present that same message, and the way they will even present it will make people more angry. But God has given me the sense of humor and the gift of humor to be able to at least present the message in a manner that the stories I say tarries with things and it makes it work.
Lord bless you, sir.
I was telling people that sometimes you'll be surprised there are easy things or little things that can destroy our homes, and we don't seem to know that it's offense. Wow. If you can learn to forgive, learn to forget, and learn to look up to God, you can control offenses. About 4.5 years ago, I had a personal experience. Now, Esther, I have written a book on offenses. I thought I was in control of offenses.
In control of offense.
And then I realized I was human after all. Wow. I was coming from Congo, Kinshasa. When I got onto the plane, when I got on board, the air hostess told me that I cannot sit on my chair one seat. Now, the Lawrence Tetteh in me came out.
Wow. What do you mean?
What do you mean? Now, I've paid for this ticket, and that is where I want to see. So where do you want me to sit? And she said, you can sit on 5C. 5C was the last of the first class seats. Wow. Now, the seat doesn't recline like the other seats.
Like the other seats, I see.
And to think that I was going to be traveling for almost 10 hours from Kinshasa, it was not exciting at all. Unfortunately for me, the person I was supposed to be seated next to was coughing.
Oh, goodness.
And when I saw him cough, and then he looked at me and said, gentleman, you look like somebody I know. And I said, no, you don't know me. I mean, I don't want to talk to him, not because I hated him, but he was coughing, and for crying out loud. I mean, 10 hours flight with somebody coughing. You don't know what that coughing is. I sat down and covered my face, and this man took the thing from my face.
What?
And asked if I was a preacher. And because I didn't want to talk to him and I was offended, I said, no. Because if I said I was a preacher, and I'm telling you this to let you know that it does not matter who you are, you can be denied your blessing because of offense. Could you believe that when I covered my face again, the man said he was sorry, and that I looked like Lawrence Tetteh he saw on TV, and he saw a lot of miracles, short legs, blind eye open, a lot of miracle, and he was a diamond dealer, and he wanted to know if I was the one, because he wanted to bless me.
So what was your reaction?
Now, what will you do? I finally had to take the thing off my face and apologize. And this man blessed me tremendously. He asked for how much I spent on TV for a year and decided
he paid
to take care of it.
Oh my goodness.
Now, you can imagine what I would have lost if I kept on with that offenses. So offenses can make you lose things that belong to you. And I've seen a lot of people who have labored for the church, labored in a marriage, worked in a marriage, done your best for your spouse, and then all of a sudden something very trivial happens. You get offended and you leave.
Wow.
As I'm speaking now, some of you know that what made you lose that friendship, what made you lose that church, what made you lose that marriage, what made you lose that relationship could have been avoided, but for offense. So learn how to manage your offenses and let the word of God be strong. In fact, I can give you scriptures upon scriptures because it's something that I've been preaching on now. I've written books on it, and I've realized that it is an area that we almost lost sight of.
The Lord bless you, sir. Someone said they are trying our studio line and it's not going through. I don't know what is wrong with the line. I received a message saying the studio line is not going through. Please check the line. And another person sent a text saying, "Sir, is offense a sin?"
That's a nice question. Well, before then, I want to also apologize to those who have been trying to call and the line is not going through. Don't be offended. You know, we are dealing on offense.
Please don't be offended.
Maybe God even
allowed our studio line is faulty tonight.
Maybe God even allowed that so that you spend time to listen. Sometimes the calls can be a little bit distracting and some people just want to talk. But forgive us if you are not able to get through. There are numbers on the screen that you can still call.
Mobiles,
you can still get in touch with me and we will talk. Yes, ma'am, offenses should come. But Jesus Christ admonished his disciples that they should not let it become sin.
Okay. So are you saying offense in itself is not a sin?
No. You can be angry. You can be upset. You can be offended. You can be upset. But don't allow that upset to become offenses. You know, people hold on. There are people who, something that happened to them when they were 2 years old,
oh,
they are still holding on to it.
We finally got someone from Paris. Good evening, Mary from Paris.
Hello?
Hello, Mary?
Well, Mary, I think we are still experiencing that problem. We can see your name, but we are not getting through. Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with the line.
Okay. So, Jesus knew that people will become offended. But that is why he told them that they should not stay in offense, because offense will make you lose what belongs to you.
Wow.
Now, look at somebody like John the Baptist. Could you believe that John the Baptist became offended?
God bless you. Mary is there again. Hello, Mary.
Hello.
Oh, thank God, finally. Good evening.
Good evening.
God bless
good
you.
Evening, ma.
God bless you.
Congratulations. I'm very enjoying this testimony you are giving us this night.
Thank you.
Honestly, I would really to confess myself, like this preaching is for me today, they are doing it. Because I'm always hot, anger, anything, I always get away and I will react. Later on, I will sit down and start thinking, what made me I do that? So at the end, the person will be looking at me like,
wow.
The way you look, it doesn't look to act like that. What is going on? Later on, the thing will be worrying me. So honestly, I was just happy and pleased. I just want to pray. Honestly, I always, anything I always got angry and I will react so stupidly. Later on, I will be regretting. I don't know why.
Oh, God bless you, Mary. She's just sharing.
Mary, bless you.
Thank you, Mary from Paris. She said she's been living in anger, you know, she's been living in offense, but thank God tonight she's been ministered to. The Lord bless you all the way from Paris. So, offense in itself is not a sin.
Yes, but if you stayed, you hold on to it.
But if you hold on to it, then it becomes a sin.
It becomes a sin. Now, this is what happened to John the Baptist. In Matthew chapter 11, when he was in prison, he heard people pouring oil on Jesus Christ's feet and wiping, and Jesus Christ going about performing miracles and things. And Jesus had not visited him in prison.
Oh, God bless you, sir. Bimbo from Highland, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Sister Esther.
God bless you.
Good evening, ma.
Good evening. God bless you. Happy New Year.
Yeah, I wish you the same. In fact, I must say tonight I'm really blessed with this topic.
Glory to God.
In fact, it's really like Dr. Pastor Lawrence Tetteh said, that it's a message for the church. Especially, you know, it's a kind of an area where people overlook. And I'm really blessed with this topic tonight because I was really discussing with my friend, like a few days ago, like when people get angry, is it an offense? But thank God that Dr. Tetteh clarified this evening that it's not really an offense. But when you hold on to it, that's when it becomes an offense. And I really bless God for this message tonight. I appreciate that, because if we look at the way our relationship with Jesus, each time we are offended and we offended God, we still go back to Him and we receive mercy. So that should be something that we should be impacted in our lives too, even as Christians, that whenever we find ourselves being in offenses in our relationship with people, we must give them room to have a relationship back.
Okay.
That's just my own little contribution, and I'm really blessed. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you
Sister
so
Esther,
much.
you're doing a good job. I pray that the Lord will continue to increase your anointing in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. Thank you, Bimbo from Highland, for your contribution.
So as I was saying, when John the Baptist heard in prison what Jesus was doing, he took two of the disciples and told them they should go to Jesus and ask him if he was the Messiah, or they should look for another one. Wow. Now, Esther, it was only offended person who would say something like that. Biologically, Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist, and Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, were related. Now, John the Baptist spent time in the wilderness living on locusts and honey because of Jesus Christ.
Because of Jesus.
He baptized Jesus Christ, and the heavens opened. And he heard God speak, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I'm well pleased." But when he became offended, he forgot all that.
Oh my goodness.
Offenses will make you lose focus on where you are supposed to be going to.
God bless you, sir. Joy from London, good evening. Hello, Joy.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, Pastor. Good evening. Happy New Year to both of you.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, your preaching, Pastor, has been you've been a very good preacher. Anyway, I normally follow your preaching on for about 4 years now. There was one you preached in Amsterdam that has been an inspiration into my life, and every time I keep referring to it. But the one for tonight is a very good blessing for all churches, for all God, for all churches, because there's so in most churches, people, they'll say, "Oh, she's offended me that much. I'm not going to forgive or forget," which is nothing. From what you've told us today, that we can get offended, but we should learn to let go.
Don't
hold on to it.
I hope most churches or most pastors, they will listen to this and preach it in their churches, because this is the end time. All churches, we all Christians, we need to be revived. We should stop being a listener, but a doer of the word of God. Thank you, Pastor.
God bless you so much, Joy, for calling. I've been told that it was the rainstorm that was responsible for the little problem we had with the phone lines. Please, we apologize for this. You can send your text message across if you've been trying. But I think the line is a bit better now. We can take.
But they are not offended.
They are not offended. I hope you're not. I hope you're not offended.
So Jesus Christ said to the disciples, "Go tell John the Baptist what you see, what you hear, the blind see, the cripples walk, the lepers are cleansed, and the poor have the gospel preached unto them. And woe unto him who be offended because of me."
Wow.
That is Matthew chapter 11, verse 6. So Jesus knew the only reason why John the Baptist would send a message like that was because he was offended. Don't allow offenses to make you lose what you have labored for.
Amen.
Now, a lot of people have just packed the things and they left the home because they were sick and tired of that man. And Delilah is ready to grab hold of that man.
With ease. God bless you, sir. You want to say something?
No, it's okay. How are you?
All right. Hello, Hawa.
I don't want to offend any of them.
You don't want to offend anybody tonight. Good evening, Hawa.
Good evening.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, speak on, please.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question about offense.
Go on, please.
Yeah, because I was tuning my channel and I just, just found this thing and I was so happy.
Okay.
Yeah, about offense.
Okay.
And because, I'm the kind of person, I got angry quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, like before, the woman was saying that some people, when they do something at the end of the day and they later regretted what they have done.
Yeah.
Because I'm one of them. Especially regarding my marriage.
Okay.
Because my husband has been doing so many things to me, which is like I've been taking I've been taking a lot of drug action. You know, asking him to leave the house, whatever. You know, by the end of the day, because he has hurt me so much. You know, and
Hannah, it's difficult for her to.
Take the number on the screen. When we finish, I want to talk to you personally.
Can you call Dr. Lawrence's number? That's the number on the screen, Howard. Doctor said he will like to talk to you.
I want to speak to
one
you
on
personally.
one. He wants to speak with you personally because the area you're talking about is a very sensitive area.
I can tell you are in pain.
She's in pain, yeah.
Offenses will also make us let ourselves loose and say things we could have held back. So let's be very mindful the way we relate. When we get offended, we get so loose, and the Bible says, let not evil communication corrupt. And I know you are talking about areas concerning your husband.
Marriage, yeah.
We want to heal the marriage. We don't want to create problems. So talk to me personally when we finish the program, and I will be able to give you a few advice as to how to get.
Please, our copy Dr. Lawrence's number. That's the mobile number on the screen. And please give him a call after the show tonight. He would love to have a word with you one-on-one. And copies of today's live show, Dangers of Offense, will be available on DVD. Please call. Permission to...
Go ahead.
Please call our studio lines, the mobile numbers on the screen to order your copy. We're going to have this episode on DVD. You can, grab it to bless someone with it. Even go and give it to someone that you've offended or that you've been offended by.
And remember, most time we look at, I know our time is almost gone, and we've practically not said anything yet. It's just
we'll do another episode.
Yes.
It's a serious topic.
We'll be having some other series, but what we want to understand is that this spirit called offenses can catch anybody. And I pray God release you out of it.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Please get in touch with Dr. Lawrence Tetteh and grab a copy of his book, Dangers of Offense. Like I told you, copies of DVDs will be available for tonight's show. Pick it up. Give it to someone you know is struggling with hunger. Give it to someone you've been offended by or you've offended. Make it a gift as we enter this new year, and the Lord will bless you. I'm coming your way next week, Tuesday, with another life-transforming episode of this program. I won't tell you what that will be yet. I want to keep coming your way with good surprises. Doctor, the Lord bless you.
Bless you.
On a serious note, you've lectured me tonight, as a matter of fact. Sorry one more time. We apologize for the little itch we had with our phone lines tonight. Get in touch through our mobiles, and the Lord will bless you. So I see you, same station, next week. God bless you. Happy New Year one more time. Remain blessed.
And I will see you tomorrow at 11.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
From 10:30 to 11.
You've got a live show tomorrow. Yeah, Doctor will be here tomorrow. Watch out for him. God bless you. Thanks for coming.
Okay.
We appreciate you,
Bless
sir.
you.
Bye. Good night.